guys. I think Alondra's coming in. There we go. I was just trying to do something. Let me see if I still can. We'll wait until, hi. So we'll wait, I doubt, well, who knows if anyone else is coming. We'll wait a few minutes. My favorite thing to do. We have a lot that I want to cover today. Let me see this. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. I don't know if, I know Stanley's not coming. Anyone else is. I haven't heard from Sabrina in a while either, so I'm just gonna start because we have a lot to do. Okay, so I know I asked you guys to look at what I sent you yesterday, not expecting you to like understand it whatsoever. But I'm gonna do that first. I'm gonna do inversions first, and then I'm gonna go back and go over some stuff, okay? So let me share my screen. Did anyone have any pressing questions before we get started? Nope. Okay. So let me do this. So basically, I'll just do a quick triad review. And we'll talk about this more, but in the Notion, I put a bunch of new triad worksheets in there that I found. And there's one more that doesn't have any inversions on it. And I'll show you guys that later. And then there are some that have inversions, and there's a pretty easy one with an inversion. So yeah, so we'll just do inversions first with triads, and then I have everything written out that I think we should go over, and then even some short dictations at the end. And then you guys can ask any questions. So we went over this last week, that triads are built on the first, third, and fifth scale degrees. I like this better to show you guys that a major triad is built off a major third and a minor third. Minor triad is built off a minor third and a major third. Augmented, both major thirds, and then diminished is built off of both minor thirds. So when we're thinking about inversions, we're still using scale degrees 1, 3, and 5. They just go into a different order. So this is your C major triad, and here we have root position, which is what we've been, oh my gosh, 2 more people are trying to join. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
How's it going? I thought you were 2 people at first. I was like, oh my goodness, 2 people are joining.
No, it's just that my math teacher makes us write our our last name, comma, first name to do attendance, so I always keep it that way.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. So have you been looking at any triads?
No.
Perfect, so I'll just do them really quickly because I know Kurt and Alondra have been. So triads are a form of chords, but they're built off of the first, third, and fifth scale degree. And I have a whole PowerPoint on that that I can send you or is in the Notion. But yeah, so just trying to be quick about this. So there's the major triad, the minor triad, which is a lowered third. The diminished triad is a lowered third and fifth. And then the augmented triad is a raised fifth. degree. So like I said, it's built off the first, third, and fifth. And here I had showed them that the major triad is built of a major third and then a minor third. A minor triad is built off a minor third or a major third. My Siri always goes off when I do this. And then an augmented triad is 2 major thirds. Diminished triad is 2 minor thirds. So I know that's really quick, but I can always go back over it with you at the end. Because now we're going to talk about inversions, which is the next step in all of this. So root position is everything I had just talked about. Nothing's moved. It's always the first, third, and fifth. But then when we talk about inverting it, first inversion is when you bring that root that would usually be down here up an octave. So then this becomes E, G, and then C is above it. And it's usually easy to pick apart what inversion you think it's in, because you see how there's only one note up here versus the 2 notes that are in second inversion over here. So it helps when you know the order that they would go in root position, because then when I look at this, I automatically know it's not in root position if I have an E, G, and a C. Because that wouldn't be a 1, 3, 5. This would be a 3, 5. And it makes no sense. It wouldn't fit into the triad if this was in root position. So it has to be a first inversion. Second inversion is when you then bring up that third to go above it. So there'll be 2 in the space above, which you'll be able to pick out. And I have another one here. Oh, okay. So same thing here. So root position is what it'll be called if there's no inversions. First inversion, you're bringing the first scale degree up. Second inversion, you're keeping that first scale degree up there, but you're also bringing the third scale degree up. So when we do these, we want to write them. See how it says a 6, 3, and then a 6, 4 above it? That's how you would notate it. So if this is an F, if this is an F major triad in root position, right? F, A, C, that would just be notated as with the Roman numeral 1. But then when you bring it into first inversion, you can't notate it as just 1 because it's inverted. So you're going to do it 1, 6. For this one, you can leave out the 3. So it'll look like that, 1, 6. And then second inversion, it'll be notated as a 1, 6, 4. As you can see there. And that's the same for, you'd notate it with the inversions for any degree of the scale. So if I was doing like, if I was in the key of B, and this was like an F sharp in root position, or let's say we're in the key of C, and you're given this F triad, right, in root position there. If I'm in the key of C, what scale degree is F?
The 4th.
Yes. So, and if I'm in C major, am I gonna have a lowercase or uppercase Roman numeral? Yep. So I would notate that. Say I have it in first inversion, then it would be a 4, 6, written like that on the bottom. So it doesn't matter what scale degree it is, you're still going to notate it the same with an inversion. So we can have a 2, 6, 2, 6, 4. The most popular is a 5, 6, 4 chord. And we'll talk about that more when we get into 7th chords. But is there any burning questions on inversions? Really, you're just moving stuff around.
Can you explain how we pick the numbers again?
Like the 6 and the 6/4?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those aren't going to change with triads. With triads, keywords there. With triads, first inversion will always be notated with a 6. So no, this says 6/3, which is technically right, but but really it's just a 6. The technical reason behind it being a 6/3 is because this is a 6th interval from the A to the F here, and then this is a 3rd. So that's why it's a 6/3. So if you're ever stuck, you can figure that out. But second inversion, it's another 6th here from the C to the high A, and then it's a 4th between the C and the F. So that's why it's a 6/4. And that's why this one's a 6/3. You wouldn't get marked off points for writing first inversion as a 6/3, but most musicians just write it as a 6 because technically you could reduce this. It's just a whole thing, so they always just write 6. And root position doesn't have any numbers on it. That's when we know it's in root position. How are we feeling about that? Okay. Before we do this, I want to go to the Notion and show you guys. Vanessa, have you been able to go to the AP Music Theory Hub I had shared?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we go on here, you go to Worksheets, and then we're going to go to Triads, because that's what we're working on. We did worksheet number 1, or we talked about it. I don't know if you have done it, Vanessa, but if you want to do it, this doesn't include any triad or any inversions. This is the worksheet, though, that explains inversions. And also, it's pretty simple. You just have to write what inversion you think it's in, or if it's in the root position. And you have to highlight what the root note is. So when it's referred to as the root note, that's the first scale degree, because that's the root of the chord. So like this one we're looking at, what would it be?
So I'd say that it's a D triad.
Yeah. And what is it, inversion, or is it?
No, it's not inverted. It's in root position.
Yep, good. So that you would just put in R and then highlight the D here. And these you don't need to put any accidentals in. This is just a simple worksheet. What were you gonna say, Vanessa?
If we're not doing in triads, like I haven't started triads at my school. You say we're behind or no?
No, I don't think so. I think your school, I'm sure your teacher has a curriculum. We have another person joining. I don't know if they can hear us yet.
Yeah, it's just that my AP Music Theory class doesn't have like half of the people there don't play, like they're not musicians. So like we're going a little slower than I guess is required, but I don't know.
Gotcha. I don't think you're going slower. What are you doing right now? Just out of curiosity.
Minor scales.
Okay. Personally, my class was made up of all musicians, so we went a little bit faster, but if you think that it's going too slow for you, I would talk to your teacher about that. Because I don't know, you seem to know some of the triads. Hi, Sarah. I don't know if I've met you before, but I'm Lily. I'm the TA.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I don't know. We were just going over triads and inversion.
Oh yeah, that's what my class is doing too.
Oh, cool. Okay, perfect. So we were just going over how to notate them. And also I was showing them, I don't know if you have been onto the AP Music Theory Hub that I had shared in the Slack channel, but I have a ton of worksheets in here for triads. And some of them are harder, some of them are easier. And I tried to mark which ones use inversions. Some of them don't. This one doesn't use inversions. So if you guys want to go back and maybe do this one, if you feel you want help with regular triads, definitely a good one to do. But I think the first one that I had given you guys is probably the hardest out of all of these. So yeah, definitely go back and work on those if you guys feel that you need help with those.
Again, since I haven't learned these, so let's say if we're doing like the basic triad in root position, like the D, like D, F, A. If the F isn't like, does it go with its scale? Like if it's an F sharp, would it be a D major triad? Or no? Or that doesn't have to do anything with
Yeah. No, that would be right. So if you're just given the triad alone, then that would be a D major triad.
Okay.
And then if it was an F natural, it would be a minor, D minor triad. And like I said, these two words are important to know, diminished and augmented here. But sometimes later we'll get into, when we do part writing, that's when you're given a triad. And even though it may be a D, like starting on a D as the root note, we might be in a different key. So you'd have to see that, oh, maybe this is in a 1 chord, but that's ahead of where we are right now.
I just wanted to make sure because I haven't learned this, so just making sure.
Yeah, so if you're just learning triads, then definitely just stick to the simple stuff like this. And I think breaking it down into the thirds is very helpful, because then you always have something concrete to reference. So these are inversions. Also, Sarah and Vanessa, I was telling Kurt and Alondra that I'm going to do the inversions right now, and then we're going to go over a review of stuff that I've talked about before, including rhythmic and melodic dictation, which I don't know, Sarah, are you taking it through a school? And if you are, have you started ear training yet?
Yeah. I think we're on the 3rd unit this week.
Okay, so has she had you guys like listen to a melody and write it down from what you hear? Or he?
Yeah, and then there's also like baseline dictation. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that a little later. I'm hoping to not keep you guys more than an hour, but I do have a lot of stuff to cover, but you can always feel free to leave. It's whenever. So major scales, I want to emphasize the Roman numerals that we use within major scales, and also that this is the first scale degree is a tonic, 5th is dominant, and then the 7th is the leading tone here. But I believe my next slide is about minor scales, but you really need to know the Roman numerals because that's going to come in handy when we start analyzing and part writing. So, and this slideshow is also in the hub. I believe it's the last one under slideshows, but this is a great slideshow to reference if you need to review like a lot of the big topics. And here we have a minor scale. This shows the difference between the Roman numerals we use here. So see, in a minor scale, the 3rd, 6th, and 7th are going to be major triads versus the 1, 4, and 5, that would be major triads in a major scale. So these are just helpful to know as well. And definitely something I would write down. Okay, so when it comes to minor scales, we have 3 different kinds. We have a natural minor, which is when you lower the 3rd, 6th, and 7th scale degrees. and those don't change. They're lowered on the way up and the way down of the scale. Then we have the harmonic minor, which is when you lower the third and the sixth. The seventh is left alone here. And these are good to know off the top of your head, especially if you plan on continuing with music. And then we have the melodic minor, which is the odd one out of the three, where it changes on its way up and down. So when you're going up the scale, the only scale degree that's lowered is the third scale degree. But when you're going back down the scale, that's when you lower the seventh, sixth, and the third is still lowered there. And stop me at any point if you have any questions. I know I can go pretty fast, but circle of fifths, everyone's favorite I put, because it's very, very important to know. Just today in my freshman year music theory class, we do 3-minute drills where he gives us 8 scales to write out in 3 minutes, and we never all get them, but we get more and more scales every class the more comfortable we are with knowing the circle of fifths in our head. So I wanted to talk to you two about this, Kurt, because when we were talking about enharmonic equivalents last week, I was very confusing and I apologize for that, but I was thinking about it myself this week too. So if, say you were given like, let's say A flat would be G sharp, right? So see how our last sharp notated is here as C sharp. So if you're given G sharp, major key, look, okay, so what's the enharmonic equivalent of that? A flat, right? And where is that next to all of our other sharps? So 1 sharp, 2 sharps, 3 sharps, 4 sharps, 5 sharps, 6 sharps, 7 sharps. And then when we'd get here, it would be 7 sharps plus we're adding another sharp. So that wouldn't make it 8 sharps. That would just make it so that F sharp, our first sharp in the order of sharps that we had gone over, right? That means that that's a double sharp. Does that make sense? I totally get it if it doesn't. Sarah, yes, it does. So like, I know I'm so confusing when we talk about this, Kurt, but I feel bad because I never really answered your question about it before. But so if we've gone through all 7 of the sharps, everything up to B is sharp, then we have to start putting even more sharps. So the first sharp, we'd go back to F sharp, right? And that would have to add something to it. So then we make it a double sharp. And then it would be the same as like, so here we're double sharping F. And then if we're talking about D sharp major, then we'd have to make F and C sharp both double sharps. Okay. I don't know if that makes it more confusing, but it was making it easier for me to think about. I don't think you're going to get too crazy of keys like that, but if you did, that's the way to think about it with your circle of fifths. And I personally think it's very, very important, and I've said this so many times, to memorize your circle of fifths, or at least memorize the major keys and know how to find the relative minor from that. Any questions on the circle of fifths? Yes, no? Okay. If not, I'll move on, and if you think of something, unmute, we can go back to it. This is where things get fun. And Kurt and Alondra, I know you have been coming, but I haven't talked to you guys about this yet. So I would write this down if you want. But simple and compound meter, that's included usually in like the beginning units of music theory, so I didn't want to miss it. Simple meter is when, see how, okay, Simple meter is when you can divide things into groups of 2. So see here, if we're in 2-2, then we can divide it into 2 half notes. 3/8 is a simple meter because you're still dividing these into 2 16th notes because we're using 3/8 notes, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, and this equals 3/8. It makes more sense when you're looking at it and doing it on a worksheet, so I'm going to try and find a worksheet on this for you guys. I think I might actually have some in the Notion already, and they're under the rhythm category. But it's when you can divide things into groups of 2 or multiples, like 2, and then here we have 4, stuff like that. So these are simple, but when you can divide things into groups of 3, it becomes compound. So like when we talk about we're doing things in, what do I usually have you guys do them in?
Like 6/8.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I got so excited I changed the. Yeah, so when we're doing things in 6/8, you can divide them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I always talk about how we feel it in 2 because we're dividing it into 2 groups of 3. So 6/8 is a good example there. So basically, when I do it, last year when I was learning this, when I was thinking about it, like 6/16, not very common. And you can't really divide this into groups of 2, so that's going to be compound. And 9/4 compound. So really, if the top number is divisible by 3, then it's probably compound. Those are good to know, and you'll definitely need to know that for your tests, which is why I wanted to make sure that I start it and put it out there so you guys knew it, because that is a beginning fundamental. Then we go to intervals. Vanessa and Sarah, have you guys listened to any intervals or written out any intervals in your class? No,
For my
Vanessa?
class, we did that a couple of weeks ago, and our test was last week, I think.
Okay, did you have to listen to them and then identify them on the test?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we also had to
Okay.
draw them out. Yeah.
Perfect. That's great. So I didn't know if you guys had any questions on the intervals. I have a quick little practice that we can do with 5. I just have 5 this time. There's not 14. If you guys want to do that, just number your papers 1 through 5. Vanessa, I know that you're not familiar with these yet. So do your best to hear. I'll keep this screen up, so you just have to hear the distance between 2. So I'll play it out really quickly. So this is a unison, which they have here as a P1. And then they have a minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth. They have it here as an A4, but it's really called a tritone. And that's both the A4 and the D5 here. You can just cross out in your head. That's called a tritone. And we have perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh. And then finally an octave. So far I haven't done any with you guys that are not in the key of C or starting off of C. So we'll just still do that today, and then hopefully somewhere down the line, I hope that you guys practice these. These are important to know. Maybe in a few weeks I'll come back to it and we'll do ones with that start on, you know, E, and I usually play them separate and then together for you guys. So right now, if you want to just label a piece of paper numbers 1 through 5, and we'll just do that quickly. And Vanessa, I also, in the resources in the AP Music Theory Hub, I have this sheet of paper that gives you things to hear to know what it is. So like it'll say like perfect fourth, you hear Here Comes the Bride. So that's a perfect fourth. Or a major sixth, my favorite is the NBC tone. I think my AirPods just died. That's what the NBC tone is there, but this is a major sixth. So when you hear that and you feel like, oh, it should be NBC, you should know that it's that theme. My AirPods definitely did just die, so that's cute. Were you laughing at me saying that it was my favorite interval?
It's my favorite too.
It's the best interval. Like, I will die knowing that, okay? Anyways, number 1, here it is. I'll play it 3 times, separate and together. Let me turn this up. Okay, so that was number 1. And once we do all 5 of them, we'll go back through and I'll tell you the answers. And here is number 2. Was that 3 times? I think so. We'll do one more for good measure. I thought you guys could see my keyboard for a sec, but you can't, so it's okay. Every week, Kurt and Alondra know that I like accidentally have it tilted down towards my keyboard, and you guys can probably see it, but hopefully not this week. Okay, number 3. And one more time. Really let that one sink in. Here, I'll give you a hint. Hear the distance in that one versus this one, which is number 4. And then the last one, number 5. If I'm ever doing intervals with you guys, you know that that last one will always be in there somewhere. Okay. I know that one. Okay, so number 1 was a major third. That's, and we hear that one because that's what we build the triad upon. We do 1, 3, 5 for a triad. Number 2 was a tritone. And the way I told them to hear this one was, if you've ever seen West Side Story, in the song Maria, the guy whose name I don't remember sings that song, and that's the interval he sings so he goes, like that in the song. That's how I always remembered it, even though I've never seen it. Still remember it that way. Number 3 was a minor 7th. So that's going from a C to a B flat. So there's a lot of distance there between those two. And number 4 was a minor 2nd. And that one is just the Jaws theme song. And finally, the last one was a major 6th. And that's the NBC, like I was saying before. Hear that in there. Does anyone have any questions on intervals? Don't all jump at once. Okay. Oh, I forgot I have a mouse down here. I don't have to reach over. So that is the little interval section. We are at the end. I have 1 rhythmic dictation and 1 melodic dictation, and it's only 5:36. What a time. Okay. So the first one we'll do is a rhythmic dictation. So we're not listening to the note here. It's only 1 note. We're just listening to the rhythm. I will give you guys how many measures and what time we're in. And Kurt, you'd be really proud of me. I have recently acquired an iPad. I'm really moving up in the world.
Very nice.
am inspired, to use an iPad. So that's what we will be listening to these off of today. Thanks to the Flat.io app. Flat.io, best website ever. I'm so sorry. I just scared Jasmine, my roommate's dog, with that.
What is wrong with you?
I know, I'm just awful. Okay. So, why isn't it here? Maybe we won't be using the iPad. Nope, we will. Okay. So this is 4 measures in 3/4. So if you want to take a moment and write that out. Do you want to do the rhythmic dictation?
I don't.
Okay. Don't we all, Brianna?
I don't want to student. We're waiting for you.
You should all feel so honored that I'm missing Waffle Ween for this.
We're waiting for you.
Oh, you're gonna wait for me?
Yeah.
The only exciting things to do on Wednesday night at school. Okay, are we all ready for this? Cool. So this one doesn't count you out. because I don't know why. So the way it works, if you've never partied with us in office hours before, is since there's 4 measures, I play it 5 times for you guys. So let's see if I can do this. Let's see if you can hear it. So it's gonna start immediately. So remember, we're in 3/4. Could you hear that okay? Yeah, okay. Thanks, Alondra. I'll stop sharing my screen because you don't really need to see this part. So then I can eventually, I'll show you guys what they look like after I play it however many times. So that was the first time. Here's the second time. I think I know what tempo we're in. 1, 2, 3. Cool. I have way too much fun making these up, I can't lie. Ever since that first week that I did these with you guys and I made them really hard, I feel so bad. So I just make them easier because they were so hard that first week and I will never forgive myself for that. I felt so bad. Okay. This is the third time. 1, 2, 3. So we still have 2 more times. And the way I like to encourage you guys to think about these is, you know, taking them 1 measure at a time if you can, and then having the last listen through be just seeing it how it fits cohesively. So this is the 4th time. Okay, 1 more time. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So let me know when you're ready to see it. Vanessa, are you good? If I show the answer? Okay. Thank you, Sarah. I still haven't learned to do the fun emojis myself, and I have so many Zoom classes a week, so jealous. Thank you for the claps for my stupidity. Let me get out of this. How do I move that? There we go. So let me go to flat IO, rhythmic dictation. This is what we're looking at. How are we feeling about it? Good? Wow. Love this for you guys. Yes, Sarah. Vanessa, Alondra, any thoughts, emotions? Okay. How about you, Vanessa? Was it okay?
I did it
It's okay
all.
if it wasn't.
Yeah, I did it all for some reason as if it was in 3-2 instead of 3-4. So now it's all.
I can't hear you.
Oh,
Maybe
I
because you're
did.
still in my AirPods. Disconnect. Okay, sorry. Try that again.
Oh, it came out as if it was in 3-2 instead of 3-4. Like I doubled it for some reason.
Oh, gotcha.
But at least it was in time, so success.
Yeah, especially if you guys you haven't started this at your school either, so it's very new to you. So that's good. Okay, now for the rhythmic dictation. I believe this one is also in 3-4. I can't lie, when I was writing it in my head, I thought it was in 6-8 because I love doing stuff in 6-8. But then I looked at it and I was like, that is not in 6-8. Let me check. Yeah, so this is 4 measures again in 3-4. And for melodic dictations, I tell you what key we're in, obviously. We are in A major. How many sharps is that? Anyone? Yes. That circle of fifths knowledge. And the note we're starting on is a quarter note A.
Do you know if on the exam, on the listening part, they play the first note for you, or do they just write it out for you?
I think they write it out for you.
But they don't.
What?
But they don't play it?
I don't think so, no. They might play they might go that's really high. They might do that really quickly before. But usually they'll give you the first note. Because I know my music theory teacher gave us the first note because she told us they would give us that. So, but like I said, many things are in the unknown this year. I didn't have, for my melodic dictations, I guess we did have to. Yeah. I believe we got the starting note. I know that for sure. I don't know if I remember anything else. To be honest, I kind of blocked it out. So again, we're going to listen to this 5 times because there's 4 measures. So here is the first time. And just remember that we are in the key of A major. So I believe this is the same tempo. So 1, 2, 3. With melodic dictations, I personally like to get the rhythm down first. I was showing them last week that I just write out the rhythm just up in light pencil. Always do these in pencil. Above the staff, I just write lines where I hear the notes. So would definitely recommend that. Second time around, 1, 2, 3. I didn't tell you guys how many dotted rhythms there were in this, but I don't think you need that help. I think you guys got it. This one is fairly simple too, so I don't want to make things too easy for you guys or give you too much, because I don't want you to rely on that in the end. So third time, 1, 2, 3. Fourth time. 1, 2, 3. Cool. And this really helps when you listen to the intervals in between the notes, because you know that starting note is A, base all your intervals off of that one. And here is the last time around. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So we're done with that. Thumbs up when you're ready to see the answer. Thank you, Alondra. Oh my gosh, is it this reaction button and I just haven't noticed this whole time? Yes. Cool, Sarah. Vanessa, are you ready? Okay. This is still the rhythmic dictation, so hold on. There we are. Feeling okay about this one? No thoughts, no emotions, head empty.
I still think it's kind of hard to place the notes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think once we start doing intervals not based off of C, it might help a little bit. But also, like, I was so bad at these, and then I know I'm literally a broken record when I say the tone savvy, but like, oh, it helps so much. Like if you do it for like 10 minutes a day, it really, really helped me with these.
Which settings are you doing, or like which exercises are you?
Yeah. So was everyone okay with that? Do you still want to? I didn't mean to X out of it. I'm sure everyone probably has it, but let me go to our handy dandy AP Music Theory Hub, and I'll go to the resources and Tone Savvy. You're gonna go to ear training, and for this you can do. They even have melodic dictations. Personally, Kurt, I would start with intervals. and you can make them all. This is what we're doing. We're doing the advanced ones. I mean, you'd probably want to put, we'll start with this. So if we do this, start. So can you hear that? To be honest, I'm like, oh, here. Okay, so these settings 2 over here is what you want to click on. So you want to make sure it has all these in there. And really just, you don't need to worry about the ninths right now. Really just doing this is so helpful because you can click here again as many times as you want. And just stuff like that, because those aren't based off of C. These are all different ones. So I think really this for 10 minutes a day is really helpful. And like if I were to go back and go to ear training again, and do like melodic dictation. So this is using. So that gave you the key that it was in. So see how it has checked off here, 1, 3, and 5. It gave you those 3 like chords at first, and then had you do the melodic dictation. So this is so helpful, especially once you start getting into even adding these. So that was a do, mi, mi, mi.
Howard,
No, go ahead, sorry.
I tried doing that, but I don't know how I'm supposed to use like the chords to help me find out the note placement.
So when they play these, for you guys, maybe just do a 1, 3, 5, and 7. And this is probably gonna be like one with all of them. So what it was telling you was that it was in the key, like it started, this was do, mi, sol, do. So it's going 1, 3, 5, 1. So it was giving you the chords, the entire chords of the melodic dictation. It was then giving you afterwards. So if it was going do, mi, sol, do, it was giving you the then going. You get what I'm saying? It's just kind of helping you pick apart those chords that it's giving you at first. And that's just like, I know I use this so much that I'm just used to it, but if you want to start with stuff like perfect pitch, you know, you can go here and be like, oh, I know that was a C. Maybe not. What is it? Is it this? No, what is it? What is that then? Because I hear
Sarah says F.
F. Sarah, you are so good at this. See, I hear, if I'm sitting here, an E. That was right. I don't have perfect pitch, okay? Yeah, like that kind of stuff. This is just like, I have no clue. Yeah. It's just stuff like this, Kurt, that I think would help, because the pitches that I base my stuff off of is because I play the violin. So it's not perfect. I don't play the piano. Mostly people that play the piano have perfect pitch, but yeah, stuff, just honestly all of the exercises on here, and do the simplest settings first. So whatever it's set to at the beginning, start with those. I've never used this one, scale degree. But definitely intervals helps. And then once we get the chords, like the chords ones, you can even do now. It's just wanting you to see if it's major, minor, diminished, or augmented. We talked about this last week. And it even uses inversions, which right now we're only doing first and second inversion. So definitely play around with those. I don't use it anymore every day. I should. It's like, you know how you need to practice your instrument every day. You need to practice these. Sadly, I don't practice these every day anymore. But when I was in music theory and I knew that I had my test coming up in X amount of months, that's when I really wanted to oh, sorry, I was just seeing your chat, Sarah, of how bad my pitch was. No, but yeah, so that's what I have for you guys. I wanted to do this review this week because next week I want to start 7th chords, which is not only, so we're building upon triads. We're moving on to 7th chords. So then we could start part writing, which I talk about at the end of every office hour, but that is very, very important. So once we get 7th chords done, we can move on to part writing. So I really just take this as my first unit, all this information, my first few units of 5able AP Music Theory office hours. But does anyone have any questions? No? Suddenly we're all quiet. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions on anything music theory. Even if it's not anything I've covered so far, I have gone through the class. I'm still going through music theory classes, so I can most likely help you guys with anything. Use me as a resource. If you want to see anything added to the Notion, message me the link. You don't have to message me through the channel. You can message me privately. If you click on my profile on Slack, you can hit message me. I think, Kurt, I did put the link that you gave me. I put it in here, I believe. Yes, right here. I even shouted you out. Look at that. But yeah, so this is great. Practice AP questions with audio. That's gonna probably simulate most likely what you'll hear, especially if you're doing your test from home this year. I need to highlight this because it needs to be in orange and bold. But yeah, so definitely use these resources. Vanessa, this is what I was talking about with the intervals that gives you little things to remember it. That's in the Notion. And always check, 5able AP Music Theory prep, and these are replays from past weeks. Every single office hour I've done is on here. And there's so many resources. Just please use the resources. They'll help you so much, especially if you're learning from home, part-time, all the time, whatever, I also did just put the pacing guide in here because I realized it wasn't in there before, or maybe it was, but I didn't see it before.
I
But
have an entire PDF of a practice test. Do you want me to send it to you?
Sure, yeah, you can. If you message it to me in Slack with the link, that would be helpful. I think in Rhythm there's some, simple meter worksheet, and then scroll down, more simple meter, I believe. I'm gonna try and find some more simple versus compound meter worksheets and put them in here for you guys, but I'm always updating the Notion. So please, oh, thank you, Vanessa. I just got the message. Yeah, so please just check that. All my slideshows are in here. Everything I use to help you guys is usually put in the Notion. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you, Vanessa and Sarah, for popping out. You know, it's usually me, Kurt, and Alondra having a great time. So I appreciate it. I'm trying to get a better schedule going for this. And also, I know Kurt and Alondra this is early for them, like in the afternoon, because it's 6 where I am right now. So if you guys want to message me like saying, hey, maybe this time I'll try and work with it, because I do have to get my hours approved before I do them. So if there's no questions that you want to ask me here, then you're free to go. And I will talk to you guys hopefully next week when we're going to start 7th chords. Fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Bye, guys. Bye.